Because I think countdowns are fun.
It also just doesn't make us go splash into it, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Or we just sing the final countdown.
You get your guitar out, start doing the...
I think the air guitar adds a lot.
Sure, yeah.
You're being kind.
That means Andrew's not in.
No, he's not in. I don't think Andrew does air guitar, do you?
I don't do Final Countdown. We used to. I have bad memories of Final Countdown because we did pep band during basketball season. In my high school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was one of the songs that we would play. And there were weekends where we had like 5 basketball games in a day. And so that song got played
way too much.
A lot.
There's a lot of songs like that. You know, like the athlete type songs, right? That would come out and you just get tired of hearing them over and over and over. Oh my word. If I never have to hear that again.
That one is fine. I will say I fell in love with Spanish Flea during that time.
What is Spanish Flea?
Spanish Flea is like the cheesy elevator, like
yeah, I can. That's like they use it in TV, like shows.
In TV shows?
Yeah, I think like 1960s, like game
elevator music, but yeah,
or
game show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep, like the old mall music kind of stuff.
Yeah. So that one was kind of fun. But I'm a little weird, so
I just feel like it'd be surreal. You go into an elevator and you hear the weird music like this, and that, and it just, I don't know, doesn't do anything for me. Not really. But there are songs that get overused, right? Just like you were saying, the song from Europe, The Final Countdown.
We are the champions.
Playing on Judgment Day.
I hope maybe that's what the trumpet of the Lord will sound like.
The final countdown. Just a hair band. Right?
Yeah.
Or would that all be in trumpet then?
That's if it's Jesus comes back with Striper.
Nice.
Yeah, but he will not be wearing the Bumblebee outfit.
I would be a fan of it. We tried to find a onesie for Ada that was a Striper onesie.
I didn't know they made such.
Yeah, and we actually found one, but I don't know why we didn't ever get it. I think it was kind of like one of those things that it was like, that would be hilarious, and then we never.
It was just overpriced and probably didn't bother with it.
And would be mean. It'd be mean to your children.
No. If anybody is appropriately dressed in yellow and black spandex, you would think little girls for sure. Like Bumblebee outfits and stuff like that.
Sure.
That seems okay.
Not grown men.
That's
not
true.
Grown men. Not grown men. Nothing about that is a good thing.
Exactly.
Nice.
So,
Mr. Friesen is joining us from Texas.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey, Esther. I would say good to see you, but
I guess we can.
Good to read from you.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
cool. And Lisa says hi. So that's good. Hi, Lisa.
Well, hello, everybody.
We're doing a little bit of small talk here as we're waiting for people to come online. And so, how's your guys' week? How was your, it's been a week since we've been together like this. What's your week been like? Why don't you let us know?
While you're doing that, before we went on, we were talking about sports and favorite Olympic sports. So you got one, Andrew? You gonna share it?
I do. Mine is surprising to some people, but maybe not in Canada. But my favorite sport is curling. Like, I love watching curling, and I've wanted to play. I don't know if you say play. I've wanted to do curling.
Like curling. What is the appropriate? Now you say that. What is the appropriate way?
You go.
I want to curl.
Oh, I want to curl? Sure.
Yeah, it's curl. The action
it's different. Well, is it that way, though? Because you don't say, I want to hockey.
Okay, you want to play, I guess, because it's a sport.
I want to play curling?
No.
Do you curl?
You want to do curling?
I want to do
curling.
I want to curl.
I want to curl.
I feel like it's I want to curl.
I want a hockey.
I want a hockey.
Yeah, so anyway,
anyone here is watching us tonight and knows the proper English for...
Yes, because clearly that's not working here.
We're not doing it. What is the term for the sport. Is it curl? I want to curl, or
I want to curl.
do
I
you
want
want
to
to play?
do curl. I
Do you
want
want?
to play
I
curling.
don't know. Participate in the
No,
sport.
that can't be it. That cannot be it. If
Play
it is, I
curling.
want to play curling, I quit.
That's
Like that is
I no longer want to do this.
that is the worst like grammar in the world.
Oh, that's not awesome grammar.
No, I'm pretty sure it's just curl.
You want to curl? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I've wanted to go curling. Huh?
You don't say you go like you ski. Like ski is a thing.
I go skiing.
You don't say I go play ski.
I don't play ski.
Well, when I go,
We
it
can
is
do that every day. Every sport you can think of. I want to play fill in
Ski.
the blank.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. So anyway, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to do it, and I would watch. Like I would stay up late because when I was a kid, curling was not televised during like prime time hours for the Olympics in the States, and so I would stay up late watching curling, and my family thought I was a nut job because of it, but I loved it. And when the when the Americans won gold in the last or whatever the Winter Olympics were
I know
last.
what happened. It was probably Canadians.
You just thought because they spoke English, you understood.
No, it was definitely Americans, and it was a big deal. And I remember it just looked like it was 4 dads just showed up to do something random and drink beer, and they won the gold medal in curling.
Well, Sheila says it's I want to curl, which I think I agree
think that's
with.
the right way.
And
I
PJ,
feel like that's right.
I'm not going to try it. You going to try
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Nope.
And no,
Dude, it won't matter. You
He's
press
not-
your nose all you want.
yeah, it's not happening.
But it is interesting, right? Like that is actually a lot of fun.
Curling, and it's actually surprisingly physical. You think
Yeah.
it looks like super easy, but it is actually quite physical. Like
Quite physical.
you feel you're using muscles that sliding and throwing that rock. It sounds.
I mean,
I know. I just made it
You're
small.
using muscles.
It is muscles.
It's the one sport though where you can do house chores at the same time that
True.
you are training.
Sweeping.
Sweep.
Like instead of sweeping the floor, you can just tell people, "Nope, I'm training."
I'm training.
But it's a cool sport because you could yell things at people.
Yeah. Well, and you've got like
Hard.
it's like sheepdogs. Like if you watch this sheepdogs competition where they'll whistle certain ways and the dog will go a completely different way. It's the same idea. You just like grunt at your partner and they sweep harder, and it's fun.
Sheila says that you need to be coordinated,
100%, Sheila. You can slip and fall pretty easy.
like regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like something really easy, but the one time I curled, I think it was a tournament with you, the last time I curled.
That could be.
Anyway, and man, that was
I always thought it would be fun to race people with the shoe sliders on. You know those slip-on sliders you can put on your shoes. It helps you to slide down the ice and stuff. I always thought it'd be fun. Like you put one on each foot and you try to run uphill in the winter.
yeah.
That'd be fantastic. It's a silly thing, but you know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Segue into something not so silly. Hey, we got three big things to just mention, have a little bit of a conversation about as we are meeting here tonight. One of those things that's coming up very specifically this Sunday is our in-person services. And so our 11 o'clock service is the normal time that we regularly would have, and it is already filled up with people registering for it. But we also have a 6 p.m. service now that I think is really important for us to talk about, like the why behind why we're doing it. So, Andrew, why don't you jump in on that? Why are we having a 6 p.m. service?
because we are gluttons for punishment.
Yes, yes, we are. We love that.
So I think one of the main reasons why we did the 6 p.m. is because we see the desire for people to want to get together. We are limited to that 100-person number in the building, and so it is the most practical way that we can add more opportunity for people to come together and experience the gospel as well as fellowship with one another. Even if it is distanced fellowship, it's still in person there. And so I think for me anyway, I see it as being an opportunity for us to get together on another level. And also, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, I think, to see it a little bit differently. Like not early, or not that 11 o'clock is
11 o'clock cannot be called early.
Yeah. It's not in the morning though, and it's not, by then hopefully you guys have had your dinner and everything else. But it's just the opportunity to get together in a practical way and really enjoy.
I think it gives those people who would have sort of made a new routine right now of like in or making crepes or
having church on the deck.
Right, or having a different that they're able to then come join in the evening, and so there's two options.
Two options, and the really cool thing about it is that we've had a number of people talk about whether or not we would ever consider having an evening service, and this is that opportunity. Really neat thing about it, though, is that as we are going into the camping season, people are able to go away camping for the weekend, come back. You're coming back Sunday anyway because you've got work the next day. You got to get kids to, into whatever kind of routine that they have. And so then you can come back in the weekend, come to church, and be able to still engage your faith in a faith community in that church environment. And then also be able to enjoy your weekend away. So kind of a neat thing. I'm really excited about it. It's something different. We've talked about it at length for quite a number of years already about what a second service could potentially look like. And so here we go. Thank you for our current state of affairs that requires us to think a little differently about how we do things. Yeah. Now, the other thing though about that is that we're doing both our services in the gym. And that excites me a little bit because it makes me feel a little nostalgic.
Sure.
Right? It kind of takes me back in time and says, hey, this is when we were starting out and kind of roughing it in a gym in winter.
Yeah.
If you call that roughing it,
But I think that it gives us an opportunity to still at least be together. And I think, at least I'm looking forward to it. I think everyone's looking forward to it. And you can tell by the number of signups we've had, it was pretty quick.
Yeah, we only have, I think the last I checked, we only have 35 spots left for that evening service. So if you're on here tonight and you haven't signed up yet for the evening service, quickly make it happen.
Yeah.
You need to sign up to be able to get in there.
Get there, sign up.
Yeah, get the Church Center app and you can be able to sign up under events and that'll be good. That'll be really good, actually. And for those of you who are wondering about, the level of comfort that you will experience in the yes, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking those blue chairs. I can't sit in those blue chairs for an hour and 15 minutes. But hey, good news. You don't have to. Because we got some real nice double wides coming into there.
Yeah.
I always call them the double wides because they're
nice
larger chairs.
Sanctuary chairs, because they aren't being used. They can't have a full sanctuary.
Yeah.
So we have been able to move the chairs, and that will make it easier. So
that's good.
It's gonna be really exciting to be back, even if it is limited numbers and still having the distancing.
Faces, right?
Yeah, it's just gonna. There's just getting out, and getting together. It's gonna be a lot of fun, I think. So
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to, like you said, seeing faces. I don't know. I just really feel like something's different when you're able to be in the presence of other believers and you're worshiping together and you're learning together. It's a great thing. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Very exciting.
6 p.m. service, and use the east door. That's important. That's the door that's got the roundabout in front of it. And so use the east door to come in. That way we're able to keep our congregation and Bergie's congregation separate, which would be really good.
If any of I would like to say this, if any of the doors are locked,
go home. No, okay.
Wow.
I didn't say it. No, make sure you're at that door with the roundabout, the east door there, because there will be somebody there to let people who signed up in. And so just in case any of the doors are locked, don't give up on the first try and think, well, I must have missed the boat or whatever.
And it's really important actually to remember that piece, the idea of those who have registered are the ones that are going to be coming in. And the rationale is quite simple. We're only allowed 100 people in the building at any one time.
Yeah. And
not
so we
just
have
the
to
room.
keep count. And
Mhm.
we want to make sure that those who did sign up are able to get their seats and
Yeah.
get in. And every Sunday, it's a week ahead of time that the next week goes
So
live.
my understanding actually that it's going to go live on Mondays now.
Oh, well, he's going to change it. Sorry, I missed that.
Just so that if there's any questions, we're able to deal with them immediately during the day, right after the question gets posted. So that's
Mhm.
important. And so please register, because we're not really looking forward to asking someone to wait until everyone that has registered arrives, and that awkwardness.
And if you're curious if there is any space last minute, you can just go to your app and it will tell you how many seats are available. So
That's
that's
right.
a live count. Anyone who is registered and then changes their mind or is unable, maybe they feel that they aren't feeling well or they're tired or there's a reason that they are not coming, they can actually just go to their app and they can actually change their registration status, and that will free up a seat. So it's kind of a live count.
Yep, live
Yeah.
count. So actually, that also means that if you have registered
Mhm.
and you find that there's a reason that you're not going to be able to show up at church that either that morning or in the evening, then please just go and update that so it frees up space for other people
That's
to
right.
be
Yeah.
able to register.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be cool to be able to serve coffee because we're in the gym.
Yeah,
You
good
know,
coffee.
there's good coffee that'll be provided, so that's an option now. I
You
mean,
won't be able to serve yourself, but we will
nope.
make sure that you can pick one up.
Yep.
That's right.
And you've got, I mean, it's just gonna, everything about it, I'm just super excited. I really am. And it's going to be nice to just be back in the building. Like I was in the building today earlier, and it was just nice to be in the building and feel like we are moving towards services again. Was just really
It's
cool.
exciting.
Yeah, light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yep.
That was really cool. Another one that is coming up, we've got our AGM coming up, our annual general meeting, and that is a meeting that's open to every single person that calls Pathway home. Very specifically for members, you will have received a membership package already that gives you all the details. If you're not a member of Pathway and you want to be able to attend the meeting, then go ahead and just email the church, info@pathwaycc.net. You can find that right on our website at www.pathwaycc.net. Just email us and we'll get you the details you need in order to be able to participate in that meeting. Really, really exciting things happening in that meeting coming up. We're talking about the purchasing of land and office space and all kinds of other things moving forward. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And what was the third thing?
That, and in case you are wondering, that meeting will be via Zoom.
Zoom.
So we will
Yes.
not be doing that in person,
Zoom,
obviously.
Zoom.
And the information for that is all available
Yeah, it's all going to be online. So again, just email the church. We'll make sure that you get the information you need, and we'll be able to move forward from there.
Yep.
So we have our services, we have the AGM, and
prayer night.
Wow, how could I have forgotten that? So some of you may and or may not be aware that we are hosting monthly prayer nights, and so we got our next monthly prayer night coming up on the 24th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the 24th.
Yes, 24th. I thought you were going to say 20th.
Nope, 24th.
Yes.
Thank you, though.
It's a Wednesday.
She's smarter than me. So on the 24th, that's going to be happening. I'm really excited about that, actually, because I experienced it last time, and it was a really good experience. Just curious if anybody who is online with us right now was able to participate in it, and whether or not you enjoyed that. It was a really, really good time. We had a large group time together, and then we divided up into small groups to be able to pray together for people, our country, leaders, all kinds of things, our church. I would really encourage you to participate. If you've never experienced something like this is a really, really great way to also get connected with other people. Lisa was there last time, says it was a great experience for her. And so I would just encourage you. This is a good way to kind of step into entering into a prayer evening if you've never participated in one. And I would encourage you to move forward into it, and it'll be good. And I think, oh, nope, there we go. Andrew did freeze up on us, or he fell asleep. I wasn't
No,
sure what was happening.
I was just snoozing. It's fine. No,
Yeah,
I'm
he's like, don't mind me. Rob's
Like, what?
announcement.
He was just
Look, I listen to your voice all day long.
Yeah, it's ramblings.
Little
ramblings of a madman.
Exactly.
Sorry, I was trying to actually, in truth, I was trying to remember, because I was there at that prayer meeting as well. I was trying to remember just the process of it, because that's how my brain works. So I was just kind of thinking of that night and how it all worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. Yep. So more information will be coming out about that. There's some social media posts coming out. And so if you're not part of our social media, I would encourage you to, again, go to our website, pathwaycc.net. So in there, you'll find ways to be able to connect with us.
Where could one person sign up if they wanted to?
That's an excellent question.
They'd have to go to events on the church app.
There you go.
Yeah. Church Center. It is on there. You can click on there.
Yeah. It's under events, and you'll be able to sign up for the prayer evening and be able to be invited into that Zoom conversation. So I think you'll enjoy that. Really good time. Mm-hmm. And truthfully, it really is a neat way to be able to connect with people and then also pray for people and receive prayer. So it's really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So that's that for announcements. And so I thought what we could do is something completely silly, a little fun. We're going to be putting Andrew in the hot seat, and we're going to all together as a community, we're going to take a quiz to see the accuracy, a test to see the accuracy of it. And that test is, which Bible character are you? Are you ready?
Yeah, I am
ready.
Andrew Sherman, which Bible character are you? So I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing up.
I'm just hoping it's
minimize this a little bit so I can see it better. And we're going to have some fun with you, man. You're our guinea pig for this. Hope you're looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So which Bible character are you? And the first question, let's see here. Oh,
you've got to back up.
I have to back up. Sorry, guys. So yeah, which Bible character are you? And we're going to go all the way to the top here. And so I'm going to tell you some words, and you're going to tell me, or everybody online as well, are going to be able to share with us what you believe the correct answer is in terms of a descriptor of Andrew. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do my best with this because I'm trying to see the chat as well.
Can you minimize the screen?
I can minimize the screen. Guys, no, that's not working. Okay, I'm trying here, guys. We're trying all kinds of new stuff.
Do that.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Why do you make it difficult?
Because I'm a difficult person. Here we go. All right.
The hot seat is getting a little cooled off right now.
Everyone could have seen the screen share of this.
Oh, this was a gong show right here. Like it was just. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, I juggle better than I screen share. Here we go. Andrew, there's 4 words. I want you to choose one of them that you think is the most aptly describes who you are. Everyone online, why don't you help out with this? Which word you think might aptly describe Andrew? Here are the 4 words: analytical, animated, adaptable, adventurous.
Do I say what I believe first?
Yeah, what do you think?
You say what you believe, and the rest of us will argue with you.
I would say analytical.
I would say that.
I would agree with that. Let's see. You're analytical.
I feel like I pick the crap out of everything all the time.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's that. Animated, isn't it?
Animated.
Nope.
Well,
if you call permafrown animated,
yeah,
there you go. So Lisa agrees, right?
I think analytical is right.
Analytical is the right one.
Go for the next
All right.
one. Okay.
There we go. Let's move on to the next one then. Okay, so we got analytical. All right. This will be interesting. Again, a word that you believe describes you. Here we go. Persistent. Playful.
Wow.
That's not it. Okay. Peaceful.
Wow.
Or persuasive.
I'm torn on persistent and persuasive. I'm going to go with persuasive. I actually have had people accuse me of being manipulative before. So
I don't know, Andrew. We got millennials in. You're kind of playful.
You got to say Jackie says she's going to stay out of it. Come on.
Come on. No, Jackie, come on.
Jackie.
You've got the goods. We need you on this. You've got the inside track on them.
Well, she's not going to call me
persistent. I would have voted with Lisa. Persistent.
I think I would have voted with Lisa too. You're like when you hang on to something, like you really hang on. Like
yeah, those flannels are just
that's to those flannels.
That's consistent, not persistent.
okay.
No, the persistence is that you think it's a good idea.
Yes, that's stubbornness. Okay, I see.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so what do you think? You
he said
go,
persuasive, so
he's persuasive. So we'll go with that one.
She says it's cheating.
Oh, it's cheating. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, here's your third one. All right, self-sacrificing, strong-willed, sociable, or self-reflective.
This is one that I want to stay out of myself. Maybe strong-willed.
Okay.
I could see self-reflective because I am a little bit of an introvert, and I'm analytical, so
and you evaluate yourself quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do. Yeah, maybe self-reflective is better because I always feel like I don't know. Maybe other people decide that one because I can't decide that. I feel like
flip a coin.
Social.
I'm gonna say reflective.
I would say that too. My experience, like, not that you're not.
Both of them are good, but I think What did I don't know what you just clicked there? Oh, yeah, strong-willed.
Lisa said strong-willed, but I want to know Jackie Sherman.
Come on, Jackie Sherman,
wife of Pastor Andrew Sherman. What say you?
She's going to say self-sacrificing. You watch.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, nobody's going to say sociable.
She's going to ask if she can add a category. I think that's what's
well, so I think we're going to leave it on strong-willed or self-reflective.
Well, that's up to Andrew.
I feel like I need to lean more towards self-reflective here.
Okay. There we go.
Maybe this conversation is proof positive that I need to go with self-reflective.
Exactly. Oh, yes. All right. Choose one. Cheerful, considerate, competitive, or controlled.
I would say controlled. None of those really describe me, I feel like.
Not cheerful?
I don't think cheerful is a yeah, I don't feel like I'm cheerful.
You're always smiling, though.
I am considerate.
Melissa says social. That was hilarious. It's like, yeah. And Jackie is sure she's staying out of it.
Yeah, she's pretty confident about that.
Yeah, that one's a really difficult one for me. I'm not sure because I'm not competitive. I don't feel like I'm cheerful. I am considerate and I am controlled.
There you go.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Because I
would say it's between those two.
So yes, for me, control denotes the idea of discipline, right? Like you're, and so I know that that's an important thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I lean there, but no, you're right. Like, you're considerate. I actually do find you to be cheerful, even though it's a bit, macabre. But I find you cheerful. I mean, remember, like, the first time you and I met, which was over a video call.
Yeah.
And we laughed almost the whole time. Like, it was a really good time.
Yeah.
That's it. It's your fault.
It's my fault?
We started on a video call. That's how we ended up our whole lives now.
We opened the gateway.
Yeah, exactly. Stop video calling people.
Well, I'm okay with cheerful. I just feel like maybe that's not one that I would.
I would say controlled is a really important thing to you. So.
Okay, I'm going with controlled then.
We're going to make it through this tonight, though, boys.
You're just rushing. This guy is self-reflective.
This test is going to define who I am, Jenny.
Yes.
He will never be the same after this.
Well, let's stop. You got to stop there at number 5.
Okay, number 5. Here we go. Delightful.
Diplomatic.
Depends on who you ask.
Delightful, diplomatic, detailed, or daring.
I'm going to go with detailed on this one.
Yeah. That's an easy one.
But you know what? Daring fits you as well. I mean, you are adventurous in ministry. Like, yeah, like you took
Sure.
off to Ireland, didn't know anybody, and
Okay, there's that. I was thinking a daring man doesn't wear a flannel every single day of the week.
or does he?
But he might carry a sword around.
Do you know how quickly those things
saying.
catch fire?
That is true.
That's
From
the problem with
experience.
daring is I equate daring with like Zorro, like and
Wow.
like debonair type of attitude.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Wow.
yeah.
That would be delightful.
Nobody's ever told me that I'm delightful. At least not
Yeah, I've never gotten that one.
without an element of sarcasm in their voice.
Not delightful.
I've never gotten that. Okay, here's your next 4. Go ahead.
Consistent, confident, cheerful, or cultured.
I want to go with consistent on this one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No one's voting for cultured, but Lisa
Well, I was
says
thinking,
cheerful.
you mean like
Or
an old cheese?
cultured.
it's interesting to me that cheerful is on there twice.
Yeah.
They're trying to tell you something.
It's a trick.
Well, if you picked cheerful twice, wouldn't that be consistent? So you
Yeah,
anyway.
maybe. Anyway, yes.
I don't know.
We're gonna move on.
Cultured,
Here we go.
could be, but
I think it's because they're deeply trying to stay with the same letter.
yeah.
Yeah, because all of them are the same.
Yeah,
Alliteration. Some pastor wrote this. That's what it
The
is.
alliteration. Number 7, idealistic, inoffensive, inspiring, independent.
Inoffensive.
Well,
I think I would be idealistic. No, I don't know. Independent as well. Where's the unsure one? Like, I don't know. I think idealistic or independent on that one.
okay.
Okay, we'll leave it with your first there. Idealistic if you want.
Lisa,
Lisa Weeb says idealistic.
There you go, Lisa.
Back,
You
said,
got it.
"Oh, there we go. So what you don't know, Andrew, is this is part of your annual review.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Jackie's like, no, it's a trap.
That'd be a great way to do an annual review, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Okay, hey, here's the deal. Look at this. Your wife actually came on in and she says you are independent.
Well, then we should probably change it for her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if she's gonna say something, we're gonna
Indecisive.
Ken has another eye.
Decisive.
Exactly. That's
That's
the
some
one.
good insight there. So Ken would be insightful.
Insightful. There you go. All right. So here's your number 8. Would you describe yourself as deep, demonstrative, decisive,
Clearly, we can't pick that.
dry humor?
I don't have dry humor, I don't feel like. I mean, there are times that I do, but I feel like saying deep makes me pretentious.
But I think
feel
I would probably say deep is
Of
whatever.
Yeah.
these 4 words, I would say deep would probably be the best
Word for you.
descriptor of you.
yeah. Dummy
Yeah.
isn't on there, so
We got all kinds of deep words we can put on
Well,
there.
let's just take that move on before we get to too many. Number 9, musical, mover, mixes easily, mediator.
I took an aura test once and it told me that my aura was yellow or no, clear. And clear auras apparently mean that you are a chameleon and you take on the auras of the people that you are around.
Sure.
Or you're invisible.
So yeah.
Which
Well,
is
that's what I thought it meant, which is one of my superpowers that I wanted.
Yeah,
That's right.
so that's yes and yes.
I still think that if you did have the superpowers you wanted, like the invisibility and flight, that you would chase birds and freak them out. Like I just think it would be a good time for you.
Probably catch them in midair.
Okay, yeah. So on these, what do you think, Andrew? Musical, mover, mixes easily, mediator.
I'm going with either mover or musical. My wife says
Music or mediator.
or mediator.
Mm.
Let's go with musical.
All right.
All right.
Musical it is. And number 10. Number
Talker.
10. Now, listen.
Thoughtful.
Like how you answer this matters because when we click the test results,
We're gonna find out.
we're gonna know the depth of your being.
Yeah.
We'll know which
Very
character you are.
specific test.
Wow. This internet test can't be the test of all tests.
Well, I don't
anymore.
know. I'm just wondering. Like, it better not come up Judas. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I was thinking. King Saul.
All right.
Yeah.
Talker, thoughtful, tolerant, or tenacious.
I think thoughtful.
Okay, this is awesome. You have to read that out loud, Andrew.
All right, so Melissa tells us, what does mixes easily even mean? I'm just imagining Andrew as a baker making cakes with ease, but I have a feeling I do make good cakes.
Yes.
Like,
and you make biscuits?
Biscuits all the time, homemade
biscuits.
Style. Okay, so I don't know, guys. I think thoughtful.
Yeah,
tolerant.
Let's go thoughtful and see what it's. Jackie thinks we're going to get David, and I was thinking that
it's possible.
It might come up as David.
There we go. The result is for 80% of your answers, you are.
Well, why don't you move it over so
I'll
we can
move
actually
it
see
over.
It? David.
That's it.
And Jackie is a prophet.
There it is. Andrew is like David, sending people into the field to die. Good.
So I'm an emotional.
And he can write a song about it.
And he can write a song about it.
I'm an emotional roller coaster. I get angry at God.
But he loves you.
But I do love him, and he loves me. There's
some parallels there. What do I win?
Jackie wants to know what she wins. Jackie, you are the proud new owner of one Pastor Andrew Sherman.
She won that prize 10 years ago.
It's a one-time gift, no returns.
That's interesting.
That's fun.
Yeah, I did the test. I didn't do that test. I did a different one. You did this one. Exactly.
I did this one, and I did another one.
And this one you got Peter?
I got Peter.
And I did a different one, but I did two different ones, but one of them
we weren't satisfied with the first answer.
Well, I wanted to see the different options. They all have different questions.
Yeah, they all had different
questions. So I got Elisha and Esther. So I guess I'm on the E's.
You got the E's. I got interesting. I did the same one as you.
Yeah, and you also. So we thought everyone got Elisha because we both got Elisha.
Both got Elisha.
I think Elisha. I said it earlier today. Tyler and I were talking about it, and I thought Elisha would be a fun one, but I was just thinking about bears and bald guys, but just
bears and bald guys.
Would be a good one.
Bears and bald guys. That sounds like a series.
We did have a guy preach on that many years ago.
We did, yeah.
It was what was it? Strange Stories from the Bible.
That's
I think is what the series was.
I think we did
I don't
that
feel
one.
like that's strange at all. That's just a cool story.
No, it's a weird one.
It's a weird one. I mean, but it also is one of those stories where what's weird about it is it doesn't you don't really make a flannel graph of that. Like you don't.
Here come all the bears.
You're talking to the wrong person because that would be the kind of flannel graph I would want to see. Yes, please.
Talk about giving children nightmares.
Yeah, we don't tell that one, and kids have been very.
That should be a topic we should have one day. Talking about. Look at that, Jackie Sherman, you nailed it.
Yeah, beats Bears Battlestar Galactica.
No, but that would be sort of a neat conversation to have. We have a tendency to kind of sanitize the Bible, but it's actually quite R-rated.
Yeah.
To talk about
we actually talked about that the other day with Morgan. We were talking about how
our daughter Morgan,
it's like the story of like David and Goliath.
Yeah.
And the idea that we do tell that story, but we don't
you don't talk about chopping off Goliath's head.
Right. You don't leave that picture of
slaughtering the rest of the Philistines.
And dripping with blood and then slaughtering the rest of the people. We don't get to the he wins and then that's the end of that.
It's not like he's that head all day.
What's that?
He holds on to that head all day. It's awesome. That's the best part of the story.
Yeah.
He lops off that head. The speech that he gives right before he kills Goliath, when he's like, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that blasphemes the God Most High?" It is the coolest movie moment ever.
Yes, you're right.
And then even the language of him going to Goliath, because it says, and then he runs toward Goliath, and the language that the Hebrew uses is that David is at a full sprint. like going
He's going
towards Goliath. Like he's not waiting for Goliath to come to him and be like, oh, I'm gonna defend myself. No, he's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna lop your head off. I'm gonna kill your 5 brothers. I'm gonna carry your severed head around in my pocket all day long while
probably not in the pocket. That's a huge pocket then.
Well, I'm
Wouldn't
just
you
saying,
say
like,
though that it would also be, but as a story, I mean, the main part of the story isn't those details. So that's not what we teach the kids so much.
No, it's true. It's true.
So that's what we went to explain, is that although there's lots of details we leave out, that's not the moral of the story.
It is not the moral of the story. Absolutely not. But it is interesting, I think, that okay, so here's a classic example, and we could talk about this at a later date. But I remember when Theron was really young, I had this Bible on CD. And it was really well done, animated, all that kind of stuff, in terms of like the background music, everything. And he comes to me one morning, and he's started off, he's going through Genesis, and he comes to me the next morning, and he says, Dad, did you know that people slept with their dad?
Yeah, you're like, ooh, boy.
I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna skip Genesis. We're gonna I didn't even think of it, because in my own head it was just a sanitized story, right?
Yeah.
So
yes, weird stories, but not all of them are for children.
Not fair enough.
Because you have to know the context and why it's
not to shift gears too rapidly, but do you guys agree with, like, Janet, do you feel like you are an Esther?
Oh yeah, let's go back to that. I would say that there is some points that maybe could be, but I was like, well, maybe
well, you would sacrifice yourself for the good of others,
and I do lean towards doing that probably, but I don't know if I always find it hard to, like, the whole idea of being a Bible character or comparing yourself. It feels kind of weird, but yeah, I would say that character definitely is one that made a hard choice and was able to, I think for your family and for the people you love, I will definitely put it on the line. Like that, Yeah,
on my end, I would say when I was really young, especially new in my faith, I would talk real big. Kind of like when Peter comes to Jesus and he's like, I would never, deny you, and I would fight for you, this and this. And I was a real big talker, much like Peter was. But I would say that not so much anymore. It's interesting. Like, I took a ministry personalities profile, and one of the things that came out of it was they talk about who you are when you're under pressure and who you are at rest. And so when I'm under pressure, the claim was that I would be more like a Joshua, just sort of that commander-in-chief, pushing the line forward, that kind of stuff, charging ahead. And then when at rest, more like a Peter. So it was kind of interesting stuff.
I've only ever been compared to David. Like, we did at the Bible college that I went to the first semester, we were kind of wrapping up the semester, and all of our dorm sat together. We had like 7 or 8 of us in the room, and we all were chatting about, and we did it to each other. So we were looking at people, and we would go around the circle, and it was like, well, Rob, this semester I've seen you grow in these areas, and I feel like you are the most like this person in the Bible. And so it wasn't myself analyzing, it was other people analyzing. I've never done one of those tests before. So that was the first time. But I'm interested because every time people analyze me, or apparently a test analyzes me, it seems to pop out David.
Well, I think of all the characters in the Bible, especially Old Testament prominent characters, David is one of those people that, because of his writings in the Psalms, we're able to get a really, really good glimpse into who he is. But I think any of the other ones, it's a little disingenuous.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know enough about the biblical character in terms of how they function on an emotional level, or what they're like under pressure or not under pressure, and all that kind of stuff. Like, we get the highlight reel of their lives.
You're right. It's almost like
you also never really see, like, at least I've never seen, like, Jacob or Isaac or Joseph, like, I've never seen those people come up.
Well, I think I would be a little offended if I came up as a Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the situation, but like you
Maybe they
definitely
don't
never.
put those names in there though. Maybe they don't
Yeah.
give you like Judas isn't
Well,
one
Judas
of
isn't there. Like, so what? You're going to
A
go
lot.
around as the son of perdition.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's interesting to me the characters that they choose and what metrics they use to determine
Sure.
what those characters are.
But
What we can say though is that every single character that we find within the scriptures, certainly, obviously, apart from Jesus, was a flawed person, and they're in the story of the text. And what I find in the beauty of that is that regardless of who they were, God was still bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ken has a good point here. It's like getting to know someone at their funeral. Yeah, like it's the highlight reel.
You're getting the stories.
Yeah,
right?
and they're important.
The best of those stories, because again, like we said, nobody ever comes out like King Saul or like Lot or like Judas or again, I even joked this afternoon with you, Rob, and I said like Ananias and Sapphira. Like nobody gets these people that drop dead because they disobeyed or whatever, and it's like. So I feel like we're kind of looking at it, especially these tests, through rose-colored glasses, and we take one characteristic, because you always hear like you're a Paul, you're a David, you're a Barnabas. Even hearing like Esther and Elisha is kind of refreshing because I've never heard those before.
Sure.
Or yeah, like even Jackie said, like you hear Martha, you hear these things because those are people that have glaring qualities, like personality traits that we can
really pop off the page, right?
And I think it's different too, because the question that like this afternoon we talked about what we might talk about today.
Yeah.
We talked about if you asked the question like a Bible character that you can relate to.
Yeah.
And so when you do a test like this, you're going to get the Bible character that might be some of your traits, you know, because you're saying words or association with things, but a character that you relate to is a different question, right? Like maybe you feel akin to their story, or maybe you just really like their story because it speaks to you in some way. So do you feel like that's a different question, or did it lead you to different characters?
I think that is a different question. I really like, for example, Lisa brought up the topic of Joseph.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, okay, so Joseph's life story is what you would call a novelette. Within the scriptures, and the novelette is probably the most complete, story arc that you can find about an individual, because you have birth to death and a lot of detail in between. And so in there, you get to find an awful lot about who Joseph was, the character of who he was, everything from his arrogance as a younger guy, but also to his purity and running away from Potiphar's wife, that kind of thing. So I think when we read about these characters, the idea of relating to them, I think, has a lot to do with our own personal life experiences. And we identify with characters often on the basis of, can I relate to what they've experienced? Maybe it was rejection, maybe it was praise, maybe it was a loving parent or a lack of loving family. All those different pieces that we kind of relate to.
Sure. And I think like for me, and like Jackie said, I often think of Martha as the first one that comes to my mind, because I think I lean into being a worker bee. And even when often you get a Bible study or a thing when they talk about Martha and they're like, oh yeah, she should have, like, she's chastised for doing that. But in my mind, I'm still thinking, well, they had to have lunch. Someone had to make the lunch, And so, And so, but that's just my characteristic. So that's why I think of her. So I think you're right. It has a lot to do with, your experiences.
Yeah, and your personal attachment to that character.
Yeah, Lisa figures she would be a female David, and that's great. I'm sure that there's a lot of rationale and behind the why of that. I think for Andrew, I wonder, so we did talk about it a little bit earlier. What character, what person in the scriptures would you most relate to?
I feel like the answer might be different than people think, but thinking about it throughout today or whatever, because this is a very hard question for me to answer. But I think like Jeremiah is one that I think about a lot. Because again, from my personal experience, I struggle with, well, I have a big heart for people, even though I don't always show it well. Um, and sometimes I feel like my ministry isn't doing what I want it to do. And I mean, Jeremiah went his entire life without changing one person's mind, about God. And so sometimes I think about that a lot, where it's like, yeah, I get Jeremiah, I don't know that I would call myself the weeping prophet or anything like that. But just, I do get caught up with what's going on a little bit. And so that's kind of the one that I landed on a little bit. So
I like that. No, that's good. Yeah, I personally struggled with this one a little bit too, because in some sense, I did identify with Joseph in that he experienced a lot of rejection when he was younger. And so I get that, like I can relate to that, being displaced, that kind of thing. And yet later on, because of faithfulness, he's able to, find his way. Like he sees the plan that God has for him. I don't know anything about dreams. I can't do anything with that. But just on from that perspective. And then on the other side is I really I can't explain why. I just really enjoy Elijah. I enjoy the boldness and yet at the same time, like, because I could see it. He has this time of just incredible encounter where he sees God do something incredible. And then like the next moment, he's slumped up on the ground, bemoaning the fact that, Jezebel and Ahab want to have him dead. Like he's just.
Well, and I think maybe that's just a story of, I think life, it has an ebb and flow. Like there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows, but it's about how you handle it and where you rely on God in those situations.
Yeah. Sorry, I saw one here. Here we go. Melissa says, I'm probably an Israelite because I eat a lot of bread and complain about my eating a ton of bread. So
yes, nice. I like that.
Nice.
I agree with this. I'm there with you. Love the bread.
I feel like there's this idea that people want to have like, well, I'm a Paul, or whatever, or like I identify with Paul. And I just feel like it's just not that he's on a different level or anything like that, but when you look at it, it's kind of like the people who said, like, Jesus, I'll do anything. And it's like, have you counted the cost?
Right.
Of what it means to be all out. And like, even when we dream about like being like this person or whatever, it's like, well, do you really want to be like Paul? Like that guy had a miserable life. Yeah, it was filled with wondrous things from God, and he definitely was faithful. But he spent most of his life in prison, and a lot of
the cool thing is he was really mature about it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I guess if you're like Paul, then you would be mature about it. So I guess there's that aspect of it, but it's like, do you really
know what you're asking for?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's something that really convicts me a lot is I think I've said this before, but there's a Hazakim song, and he's like a Messianic Jewish rapper, which is just fun. But he had a song that was talking about like the cross that he bore was too heavy. And so he had this dream that he took it into a barn, and Jesus took him into a barn, and it was full of crosses. And Jesus was like, pick the cross that you think you can handle. And so he goes throughout all these crosses looking for the one that he thinks fits him the best or whatever. And after, big ones, little ones, whatever, he sees one that he thinks is perfect size for him. And he goes and he picks up that cross and he shows it to Jesus and he says, this is the one that I can bear. Like, this is the cross that I can bear. And he, throughout the song or whatever, he reveals that Jesus says, like, that's great, and he kind of, shakes his head a little bit. And he's like, as he looks at that cross that he picked out, he realizes it was the same cross that he came in with.
Wow.
And so it's kind of like that perspective of we live this life and we have each been given something to bear. We've each been given a task. We've each been given ministry to do. And and we are the only unique ones. Not we are the one. God has chosen us to do that, and we just need to be faithful in it. Now, again, he's going to choose someone else. If I decide not to do it, he'll find somebody to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm faithful, then I shouldn't be dreaming about, man, if I could just be like Rob, or man, if I could just be like Paul, or whoever. Like, I should just be Andrew and live that to the best of my ability.
Well, and I think that's actually what I enjoy about the life of these different characters in the scriptures that we get to read about. These are flawed people. God uses them regardless. And I don't believe that they are placed there to be placed on a pedestal. They're there to point us to the fact that God uses weakness to exemplify his glory. And like he is glorified by the fact that he's able to move. I want to end it with this, if that's okay with you guys, but Melissa says it this way. I like it. You were chosen to be obedient, not because you were perfect. That's a great way to say it. Yeah. I think it's the same is true of those who we read about in the scriptures. They were chosen to be obedient, not to be perfect. Lisa, backing that up. Good point. Just be yourself in God. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, guys,
we hope you enjoyed it tonight.
And, good times.
Yeah.
We get to find out that Andrew is a test. Like he takes a test and he's a David. And Jackie, you get to have him. Yeah. That's your prize right there.
Jackie knew it all along.
Yeah, Jackie knew it all along. So it's good. Well, thanks, guys. Remember, we got our service coming up this weekend. The 11 o'clock service is full, but definitely sign up for the 6 p.m. service using the Church Center app.
That's correct.
And AGM coming up, annual general meeting. Everyone is welcome. You want more information about that? Email the church, and that email address is on our website, www.pathwaycc.net. Or if you just want to jot it down quickly, info@pathwaycc.net, and then you are able to go ahead and email us. And then we got the prayer night coming up. So, very good. All that information is on the website. Check it out, and we will see you guys Sunday. Looking forward to it. Good night, everybody.